In this week's video, we take refuge from the strongest storm of the year so far, before heading to another brand new and remarkable anchorage to explore. But before that, in last week's video, we found ourselves in this idyllic river where we anchored up and took refuge from several gale force storms. And with an even bigger named storm heading our way, we decided to head east and take refuge.
We've decided to treat ourselves to a little bit of refuge here in currently actually fairly sunny Plymouth. We've sat out pretty much every storm this year. In fact, every storm this year we have sat out in an anchorage, and we probably could have done this one too, but it's going to be super strong compared to all the others, at least anyway. And well, we kind of cheekily got offered a couple of nights here on the free, so we thought, well, beggars can't be choosers. No, never look a gift horse in the mouth. That's probably a better one. Now we're gonna go check the place out.
And we didn't have to wait long after our arrival before the winds of Storm Agnes began to arrive.
What a difference a day makes. So, with any luck, that's the worst of the bad weather now. Storm Agnes has come and gone, blown a few things over, but if we're lucky, I think, fingers are crossed, we should be able to squeeze out a couple more good days and get into a few more anchorages yet before the season's over.
And a huge thank you to the legends at MDL Marina in Plymouth for letting us hide out from the storm, as well as use all of the awesome facilities. It was a lovely boost for all of us. However, this next leg of the journey I would be doing without Carly and Hank, as I set sail once again for another all-new anchorage.
And this is it, the final anchorage of the season. A bittersweet feeling, if I'm honest. I'm a bit sad about that, but also we've managed to squeeze in one more anchorage. This is Hope Cove in Tor Bay, not to be confused with the Hope Cove that we went to last year, which is just a bit further west. But this is going to take the anchorages section on Goodale.com up to a psychologically satisfying 50. It was lingering on 49 as we were heading back, and I was like, no, there's got to be one more situation, one more sunny day, one more anchorage that we haven't been to where the wind's in the right direction. And as luck would have it, on the last day, there's a bit of sun in the sky, The wind is coming from over there, and an anchorage that we've never been to. Now, there's a few things to think about. There are a load of seagrass buoys out here designating a no anchor zone, so we are anchored seaward of all of those marker buoys. And I'm going to jump in the water in a moment and just double check, but I'm pretty sure it's sand underneath us. We're not anchored, we don't have any chain in any seagrass, so we're not doing any habitat damage, but I will jump in the water and confirm it. And then I think we're going to take the dinghy to shore. There doesn't seem to be much here in terms of shops or anything, but that's fine. Carly and Hank are not on the boat at the moment. Carly was actually offered some freelancing work that we frankly just couldn't say no to. It was very well paid. And frankly, we couldn't say no to anything, to be honest, because we've pretty much run out of money. But it's not a problem. As I say, the winter season is about to start, and Carly and I have both been offered gainful employment once again. Jobs which I'm really excited about, because we're going to get to learn an awful lot from really experienced boat builders. So we're going to be working in kind of an apprentice role and actually earning money for it. So that's amazing. For any of you that don't know, we're going to be picking up where we left off last year, working with the amazing team at Willett Marine in Shamrock Key. So feeling very, very privileged that they invited us back, and they're going to share more of their boat building knowledge and wisdom with us. But before we do, I think we're going to head up onto the shore, go for a walk. We don't have Hank with us either, because Hank's with Carly as well. But nonetheless, I'm with a friend of mine, Chris, and Chris and I are going to just go and drop the dinghy off on this beach, I think, scrabble over the top of some of these rocks, climb the hill and have a little walk through the woods. It looks beautiful.
Let's go check out what this place looks like. Definitely a popular spot for fishermen. That's nice. There you go.
I tell you what, after only being on the beach a minute or two, this looks like a geologist's stream. So many different layers all just exposed. Amazing. Wow. Whew. I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit of a hike up, so make sure you've got some good shoes, but it's well worth the effort. What an amazing vantage point. What another amazing anchorage. I'm so happy the weather was right for this last day to capture the 50th anchorage in our Great British Anchorage Guide. And it's remarkable. The water in the shallows is fairly clear, and it's all quite pebbly until you get out about 30 meters, and then it gets into like a silty, sandy mud consistency. And where we're anchored, which is outside of the protected no anchor zone, protecting the seagrass that I imagine's in there, again, it's that same consistency. I did dive down on the anchor to try and have a look, but the visibility was so bad. The water was quite green, and I didn't see anything until I basically hit the bottom. We're in about 10 meters of water, and again, it's that sandy, silty consistency. So I imagine it'd be really good holding. But how lucky is this? This is amazing. It's October, first week of October has come and gone. And we've got a little bit of sun, the wind's in the right direction. I feel like being here is a real gift, even more so than normal. And I feel slightly ashamed to admit that in the first few years that we were cruising on Kadoa, we completely bypassed Tor Bay. And that was a mistake. A huge mistake. And if you're on your way west or on your way east and you're guilty of doing the same thing that we did, do yourself a massive favour and swing into a couple of these anchorages. If the wind's in the right direction, you're in for a real treat.
The absolute saving grace of this thing has been a spare battery. Each one of these gives you nearly an hour under the water.
It is a little bit foggy out there right now, so I'm not massively certain just how useful that visibility aid is actually going to be to people flying around the corner on speedboats. So might wait for it to clear up a little bit, but I still want to get in. Squeezing as much juice out of this day, out of this anchorage, out of the last of this summer. So we've only got hours left before I have to start stowing everything away and packing up. So I'm gonna go check out some reef. So Kudara is just over there basking in the sun, squeezing as much juice out of the solar as we possibly can. And I've just headed over here. I'm just in the shade here. And it's a bit rocky, the water drops off quite quickly. But with all these rocks piled on top of each other, hopefully, maybe, perhaps we can go and find ourselves a lobster. Let's get in the water. Man, do you know, in all honesty, I don't think I could have asked for a great deal more today. We've got one day in this anchorage, at the very last day of the season. We've had the sun shining all day. I've got to explore some of it, although I would 100% want to come back here and take a closer look, because only so much you can do in so little amount of time. It didn't take long of having a look under the rocks until I found an amazing lobster, and this one's got a really old shell. It's covered in barnacles, and that means it's going to be absolutely packed full of meat. And then I put that back in the dinghy, jumped back in the water, just have a little bit more of a look around and try and film some more underwater. Again, I don't really know how much of it actually came out. And then once I had headed out over the rocks, I then came onto the reef. I swam past the reef, and when I swam past the reef, the water started to get a bit deep, and then it got a bit sandy and a bit muddy, but I actually managed to find a couple of scallops. Again, I don't know if the camera picked it up. I didn't find many scallops as it goes, just a handful, but I tell you what, they're going to go absolutely wonderfully with garlic butter lobster tonight. What a beautiful way to finish the day, the week, and the season. Time to start stowing.